Inria Nancy Grand Est has been hosting a rather special research tool since 2007, the High Security Computing Laboratory, or LHS. No academic platform previously existed in Europe, enabling experiments to be carried out in the field of information security. It is in fact a platform that has arisen from the needs of research. These needs are growing, and since 2015 a new LHS has even opened its doors at Inria Bretagne Atlantique. The LHS is a toolbox enabling the study of viruses, malware and other botnets without the risk of infecting an internal network or allowing them to develop. The LHS has its own electrical connection and its own fibre optic internet accesses. It's a separate entity hosted by but not linked to the Inria Research Center. In fact, it always presents a minimum of 2 physical and logical levels of security between sensitive data and the outside. The High Security Computing Laboratory hosts a database of just over 10 million malware, which must remain within a confined area so as not to infect the outside world. Thanks to the darknet, we're also observing just over 6 million packets per day of unwanted traffic but which arrive to our addresses, considered to be internet background noise. Besides that, we have a honeypot platform. These are machines that are deliberately vulnerable, ones we allow to be attacked so that we can see what the trends are, the attacks currently taking place, and how they're carried out. There are numerous and diverse areas of application, first of all in virology, a field which requires this confined environment. One of our teams is working on a new approach, which is not based on signatures like classic antiviruses, but on a morphological analysis of binaries in order to determine if its behavior is desirable or if it is in reality a malware. But also with regard to network supervision, thanks to probes that will measure internet activity and in particular the activity of the attacks taking place there. It's as though we had big ears and were listening to what happens on the internet. Listening or observing is good, but this assumes that we're capable of storing this information. That is the LHS's second asset, thanks to its infrastructure. And finally, as part of our research, we're going to develop algorithms and methods on our computers, which are small computers like our laptops. However, following that, when we want to scale up and apply this to massive volumes of data, we then move over to the LHS infrastructure, which has a higher computing capacity. The platform also enables an increase in knowledge about cybercrime as well as connected objects. We're trying to force the execution of the malicious code so that we're capable of observing what the malware is doing in its environment, and therefore on the telephone. The problem is that we don't know how these malware really behave. We don't know if they're going to try to attack other computers or other telephones that are available or nearby. Therefore, we need a very protected environment. This is what we get from the LHS. The scientists are also attempting to provide possible answers concerning new attacks on industrial robots. We're going to look for information rather than wait for it. And to do this, we will use methods that will go and connect themselves almost everywhere even on the internet, in particular to find out which industrial equipment is currently exposed on the internet, in which country, on which type of equipment, and so on. Finally, in cryptology and encryption, the LHS also hosts electronic voting solutions, like the Belenius voting platform, for example. Even if electronic vote security doesn't depend on the security of the server, we still need to have one available that responds continuously, and we need to entrust it with semi-sensitive data like the attendance list. That's why we host Belenius on the LHS security platform. In parallel, the platform is opening up to the industrial world through collaboration with major groups, but also with startups resulting from the research work being carried out within the structure. In order to conduct research on malicious code, we need malicious code. The LHS has therefore enabled us to capture and store malicious code, so we have an enormous database of it. The LHS has made it possible for us to test our analysis tools in this confined cluster. That means that we have a place like a test tube where we carry out experiments, execute malicious code, see how they behave, and launch our tools to see if they detect them correctly. The LHS also has the distinctive characteristic of furthering exchanges between researchers and industry on information security and its themes. And it's this ability to create a dialogue between a technical requirement and researchers with considerable expertise that gave rise to the creation of Libero.net. The company must be innovative and always provide its teams with new tools. We're interested in the possibilities offered by the LHS platform and the Inria teams because they focus on the morphological analysis of a virus, and being able to take advantage of this expertise saves us a great deal of time. It's invaluable to us to collaborate on AI tools. Partnerships are also forming with other institutions like the DGA or ONSI in order to better detect and predict attacks, the aim being able to relay alerts to the appropriate authorities. We always prefer to work with people like the LHS, where things are pretty much perfect. A globally closed site, access to which is restricted, but which still enables collaboration between researchers, something we also push for. When you invest in this type of platform with money that is so public, it's important that the researchers are able to work together in order to progress more quickly. The primary objective of the high-security computing laboratory through the various research work carried out there is to increase the level of security with regard to both network exchanges on the Internet and the protection of the machines. However, new targets and new threats are now appearing and research subjects abound, particularly aimed at industrial networks or domotics. In the race against malicious software, the LHS is one of the cutting-edge tools that will make it possible to make a difference.